And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network, live here from the Hack on the Thanksgiving Eve. So as you're probably starting to prepare things for tomorrow, enjoy tonight's program. We're going to start things off. Fall sports has been done for a while, but we still like to kind of wrap things up. And what was it, October 12th? Was that the Thunder Bowl, or was it later in the month of October?
Yeah, you know, the exact date doesn't really I don't remember that, but no, it was a fun night. You know, both the two teams got to play each other, and it was really a fun experience for everyone.
Ryan Mathias, by the way, joining us from Thunder Football, and it was a great night, a beautiful night, and kind of an upset with blue beating white, right? Sorry to bring that up, Coach, but
throw a little more salt on that wound there, Paul. You know, my white team, they were undefeated going into that game, and the Royal, they were just below 500, and they took us down and everything. So the Royal team, they really showed up, and they came to play that night. I have to hand to those kids. There was no give up in them. They pounded on us and came out victorious. So they played really well, and that's what it's all about. Yeah. You know, there's reasons you play the games, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. You forget about those records, because I'm sure that was told to Royal, hey guys, you know, they haven't lost yet.
Yeah, I think there was maybe a little bit of chipping going back and forth during school that day and whatnot. So yeah, there was I think there was some words said. So,
but as overall as for Thunder football, to see that too, you gotta like it. Yeah, your team was one that got beat, but it shows. And it probably showed how Royal has progressed throughout the year.
Exactly. You know, they had some issues holding on to the ball early on, and that stuff, and that really was destroying their games and everything for them. And they figured that out. They didn't turn the ball over one time against us, so we're hoping that they would. But yeah, they got those things ironed out, and they really played well. And it's unbelievable how much, you know, we have these kids for 2 months from the middle of August to the middle of October, and a lot of them come in, they don't have a clue what is offense, what is defense, what the differences are, or anything like that. They have no idea how to actually go and tackle another kid and things like that. And by the end of the season, you know what, I honestly call them football players, because they do develop that much and everything. And it's wonderful, you know, to watch them. And like Coach Clemish, after the last Jamestown game that they had here at Hannah Field and everything, and they won pretty handily against Jamestown. And anytime Valley City beats Jamestown, you know, it's always a special time. And he told me, he goes, "Yep, finally tonight everything clicked." He goes, it was just there. It was fun. And it clicked. And when you can see that click in the kids, it's amazing. It really is.
And I know I've talked with Coach Milbrandt and Coach Howard, who have the 7th and 8th graders, and how they're appreciative of what happens at Thunder football. So when they get kids in the 7th grade and 8th grade, a lot of them have already played tackle football for 2 years now, 1 or 2 years, and it kind of lightens the load for them too, knowing that these kids coming in, knowing a lot of the fundamentals, and knowing that kind of stuff.
Right. You know, and that's what you know, Thunder football was created as a feeder program for Highlander football. You know, so we want these kids to start out as Thunder players, go into 7th and 8th grade, go into varsity. We had 19 6th graders playing this year, and I told them at our banquet, I want to see 19 seniors in 6 years graduating from the program, because that's, if Valley City is going to get a good, consistent championship type team, that's what we have to do. Is we can't have that attrition of those kids leaving in 7th, 8th, 9th grades and end up only graduating 5 or 6 kids every year. We need to have those numbers, and if Coach Ingen were here, he would be shaking his head.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
we need those numbers, because it's like Fargo North this year. They won the state championship in AA. They had 120 kids out in 9 through 12.
Yeah.
Valley City, I think, had 36.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's the difference. So we need to have those kids every year. We need to have, if we can have 50 kids on a varsity roster, it's going to make a heck of a difference, and it'll go good.
And saw a lot of potential, a lot of good players, speed and just a lot of good things on both teams this year.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I really noticed early on with these kids this year. A lot of football knowledge that's getting started, and just that idea and know how to compete. Things, we've got a lot of wrestlers, a lot of hockey players that play for us and stuff. So they've learned how to compete and how to win and how to lose and how to learn and get better.
Right.
And things like that too. So that all comes with experience and everything too, and that's what it's all about. I mean, we got to teach these kids how to do that and everything, and do it right. And you say that the 7th and 8th grade coaches really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a Thunder football, the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
Are really going to be lost for those coaches, because they're going to be dealing with some of the things that we deal with. Coach, my helmet hurts my head. It's tight here. I need some air. My chin strap's loose.
Right.
And things like that. And so then when they get to junior high, they don't have to deal with those type of little issues and things like that, and they can actually get down to some business.
And they probably already learned some little idiosyncrasies and little have gotten some habits gone,
Right.
and that they can carry on through. Well, now of course with you're already kind of thinking about next year. We talked about this once before about looking like new helmets in the future for Thunder football.
Yeah, that was one of the things. We started looking at some of our helmets, and we knew that we were getting towards the end of their life and stuff, but we had to get some. We weren't sure just how long they lasted and things like that too, so we had to get some help and some information on that, and we found out that helmets have a 10-year life. And concussions are a big thing and everything. So I mean, helmets are definitely one thing that we want to make sure that we have good helmets that are able to protect the kids against concussions and other injuries. So we discovered that the majority of our helmets are at 10 years or even a couple years past.
Okay.
So those helmets all have to be destroyed. So we've got about 20 helmets, 25 helmets that are still usable for another 2 or maybe 3 years. Is it? So we're looking at getting 60 helmets, because this year we had 35 kids at the beginning of the season, and we're hoping those numbers can stay consistent with Valley City and BCN combined in Thunder. So we're gonna look at 60 helmets, and we've gotten a quote. We're at about $12,700.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the things that I'm here tonight, we've started our fundraising campaign, and we have raised about $4,500, some right in that area so far already for these helmets. But we're looking for a few more dollars and everything too, and so it's the end of the year. If businesses out there or people that just have really big hearts and love football and love kids, and are looking to make a donation or something like that, they can contact any of the Thunder coaches, Mike Lentz, me, Clint Clemish, Jesse Hendrickson, and we'll help them out and let them know where to send the check and things like that too. So
And they can always go on the Facebook page, Thunder Football's Facebook page, if they want to just maybe reach out message-wise and find out more.
Yep, VC Thunder Football on Facebook is our Facebook page. So yeah, I mean, you can contact us that way through that, and everything. That'll go right to me. So I know what's going on, and everything. I can help you out and everything there too. So.
Well, it was a fun year, and I know Thunderbolt was fun. I mean, that was it was a great atmosphere, and you know, you have Sarah Hansen sings the national anthem, and how it was. The kids, I'm sure, appreciated just the level that they got a chance to take. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, this year, I mean, we had unprecedented time with the varsity too. A couple times the varsity kids came up and practiced with us, you know, which was great because all those kids I coached. I've been coaching Thunder. This was my 10th year. So all those kids that came up on the varsity, I coached them and everything. So it was fun to see them. They came to practice. They participated in some of our drills. They rode the sled when the kids were blocking on the 5-man blocking sled,
Right.
and things like that. So it was a lot of fun for them. And then at the Thunder Bowl, they came and they stood shoulder to shoulder with our Thunder kids for the national anthem, and then they formed a gauntlet for the kids to run out when we introduced them and that stuff too, and encouraged them and cheered them on. So that was big to have that interaction with the varsity program and stuff too. I mean, if we are a feeder program for the varsity, let's all work together and try and run the same type of stuff and have that working together. So.
And it was a one-score game, if memory serves.
Yes, it was.
I'm sorry, keep bringing it up. Well,
I know.
I'm sorry, Coach,
Well,
but you know,
yeah, it was.
I got to put a little salt in the wound there a little bit, but
Yeah.
But I know you, even though yes, your team lost, you were still proud to see what went on and to see that kind of a game.
Right. That's just it. You know, we tell the kids, you know, yeah, sure, you're on two separate teams. You know, we have White and we have Royal. It's two separate teams, but it's one Thunder.
Yeah.
And you got to help your teammates, your Thunder mates, and everything. So it's a great program. I don't think anyone in this community that's ever been involved with the program would say anything but that is just a great program for the kids and everything too. So
Year 23 is in the books. Now we look forward to year 24.
yeah, you know, and we're like I said, you know, we're starting this campaign for helmets. Coaches will start looking at things in March, and I think you know, we'll have registration next May, so the kids can, you know, they can start marking their calendars and circling the month of May, because that's when they're going to register, and it's, you know, so it'll be next year's 5th and 6th graders, so this year's 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
And actually, the coaches were going to come around and go into the classrooms down at Washington, St. Kate's, and out to BCN too. Hoping we can maybe come and, you know, get out there at lunchtime and maybe throw the old pigskin around with the kids and play a little football at recess with them and see if the coaches have an arm at all anymore. And I know at least Coach Marsh said his arm isn't very good anymore. So
He throws a wobbler there. It'll be a wobbler. Well, again, May's going to come fast, so we'll probably have you on when we get closer to that registration time, and let people know that Thunder football will be getting ready for the next year. It's never too early to start talking about football for next year already.
No,
It just isn't.
no. You know, I'm fine living football 24/7. You know, 12 months a year. So that's fine with me. So, and you know what? Anyone that's out there, if you guys, you know, if you do want to give back to Thunder football and everything, just contact me, Ryan Mathias, and you can go on the Valley City high school website. I'm board president. Go in the school board, and you can get my email there and everything. Go on Facebook. There's thousands of people that have my number and emails out there, I believe. So get a hold of me, and we'll help you out to see where to send that check and everything too. So
Perfect. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on, and it was a fun year, and look forward to already for 2024 and see what those new helmets look like when we get those in here next year.
Yeah.
We won't tell the kids if there's anything new.
Oh, I no, they all watch, Paul. They're all watching.
They all
right?
watch. All right, Ryan, thanks much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good Thanksgiving, Paul,
And you too.
everyone else out there too. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. We appreciate it. That's Ryan Mathias from Thunder Football. We'll step aside. We'll come back. We've got more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and last night the Highlander wrestlers had their opener, but for varsity. But last Saturday there was a junior varsity, junior high, and girls tournament, and we are joined by a couple of the Highlander coaches in a very crowded wrestling room. Tim Miller and Dustin Kruger, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's start off with Dustin. I'll just start with you. I know junior high, you work a little with the junior high wrestlers, and they were part of that tournament in Lisbon. How things go down there?
I think things went pretty well. We had a lot of wrestlers go 2-1 on the day, so a lot of kids got some good wrestling. At least 3 matches in. I think there's only one that got 2. And for the most part, there's a lot of new ones coming in. We're trying to show them a lot of new stuff, get their technique down before they hit the varsity rooms. So.
Of course, a lot of these kids were probably express wrestlers that now they've moved up into the junior high.
Yeah, I think every one of them has been through express before they've gotten into that junior high room.
Yeah, all of
that are still there. So.
And speaking of junior high, we kind of will touch on this a little bit. Like with the JV boys, there was 4 or 5 7th graders that got a chance last night and that wrestled. Simon Trapp, Jack Learud, Bowen Bulow, because there's a bunch of Bulows, but this is the B one. Bowen was out there. I'm just looking at my list. Amari Ronsberg, another 7th grader. You got a good group of 7th graders that are in the wrestling room right now, don't you? And either one of you can answer that one. Who would you say that's?
I think you know, in a couple of years, these kids are going to step in and be a big part of this team. You know, fill in the gaps that are coming up. They've all been around for quite a while. Most of them have been around for more than 3 years. A couple under the 2 years there, but a lot of kids got a lot of matches last night. Devils Lake had a lot of good young kids to match them up with. They got a big team too coming in, and you know, Valley City has a lot of kids in their room right now, and we have a lot, and trying to get it just figured out where they can wrestle anywhere they can wrestle right now.
Trent Geisler and Brady Broughton was a couple other seventh graders that I didn't get a chance to mention. But the JV last night won 45-19. Were you impressed with the way some of those seventh graders wrestled in their first time under the big lights?
Yeah, I think I was pretty happy with how they wrestled. You know, the junior high JV went. I think they went 7 or 8, and we had 5. So we had more wins than we did losses. A lot of kids stepped up and showed what they can do, and you know, as they just keep learning, they're just going to get better for us. So
now Brady, he went to overtime because was tied 2-2, went to overtime and got a takedown in that first overtime. No, don't think there was a lot of time left in that to get a 4-2 win, and that's something they learned too. I mean, you got to learn. This is a sudden death right here.
Yep.
The first point wins, and he didn't waste any time. Went right after it.
No, yeah, he went and got that double leg, and you know, that's a shot. Hopefully, he'll be able to develop and keep that going for him. And like you said, it's a thing we do practice. Today we did that. We did a match and went into overtime just for that reason, just so the kids get that feel. Because you can end up going an extra 2.5 minutes in overtime. That's a lot in a wrestling match. Like 6 minutes is a long time, but if you add another 2:30 to it, it's gonna really wear you out. So hopefully the kids got a good feel for it. I know Brady was shot after it. He was pretty excited to be done. He was pretty tired by that that overtime. So.
But they got the win, and again, it was a 45-19 was the final. And I said 7 seventh graders, an 8th grader, a junior, a senior, and a 9th grader on that junior varsity team for the Highlanders last night. Well, let's move to the girls team. I know, Tim, you work a lot with the girls, and they were part of that Lisbon tournament too. How did things go down to Lisbon for the girls?
Things went well. I don't have individual records off the top of my head, but I know we won more than half. Half of all wrestling matches are lost.
Yeah.
Anytime we can win more than half, we're on the good side of things. So yeah, it went well.
For the first match of the year, you know, the first time they get on the mat too, were you pleased with just the way that they performed, being the first time in competition?
Yeah, I mean we preach to them to look at matches as same as what practice might be. Right. They don't have stage fright in the practice room. We don't want them to have stage fright and be overthinking things on the wrestling mat. We did well.
And last night, 33-6 was the final, with the girls winning last night all by falls, and it was good. You know, Miley Christensen, your defending state champ, she got out there, and I don't think she was going to waste a whole lot of time. I think hers was 1:34. She got her pin. But last night they showed what we've got. We've got a solid 7-8 wrestlers there.
Yeah, we have 6.
Six.
We wrestled, I think, 8 matches last night.
Right.
We went 7-1. Brooke was the only one that didn't get a win for us.
Yeah.
She made a small mistake. She's well aware of it. We talked about it today. We'll get that fixed going forward. But yeah, no, our 6 that we have, they get a lot of one-on-one time. They get a lot of individual time. And that helps them and makes them better.
Well, I know that they've changed some weights. I'll talk a little bit more about this with Coach Hansen, but you guys can address it too. They changed the weight. We lost a weight class.
They got
rid of 195, I think.
Well, they didn't really get rid of any weight class.
Okay.
They just reshuffled the deck.
Sure.
Is the way I explain to people. Everybody asks, well, what weight class did they get rid of?
Okay.
Well, if you just got rid of a weight class, you'd have a big gaping hole in the middle. So they basically just reshuffled them and spread them out. So there's really no weight class that's missing. I guess if I would say that there was one, it's one of the top end.
Right.
One of the top end weights. There's probably less weight classes at the top.
Because it looked like they added 1 pound to the early weights up to 138.
For the most part, yep. And then 38, 45, 52, and 60 are the only ones, and heavyweight, of course, are the only ones that stayed the same.
Stayed the same. And but I think Minnesota started that, because I was reading somewhere the state of Minnesota was going to go to that, and then looked like everybody was going to have to fall in line if they were going to be able to compete across the river. Unless that was a national national thing that they
Well,
decided to.
I'm sure Coach Hansen will
Right.
touch on that, but basically every state was given the option of 12, 13, or 14 weight classes.
Sure.
Okay, your state, in a nutshell, had to vote on whether you wanted 12, 13, or 14 weight classes, and that those 12, 13, or 14, you can't change them. Whatever you decide, that's what you are. It stays that way,
Okay.
and that's the same for Class A, Class B, and for girls. So North Dakota, we voted on 13 weight classes.
Okay. So you look at this girls' team. Victoria Sanchez, you've talked about her, that she's kind of got a, you talked about her last year. She seems like to have a Coy Griebel work ethic. Is that a fair assumption?
Now, I don't think I've ever used that term to you.
No.
But I have used it to a few others, yes.
Okay.
Her work ethic is very Coy Griebel-like. And there's just really never enough. After practice, she wants to work on, her favorite move, which is a low single. And one night I asked, she wants to keep doing it, and I forget what time it was. It was 6:30. It was getting late, and almost everybody was out of the wrestling room. And I'm like, hey, we gotta start wrapping this up, Victoria. And then I just said, hey, how long would you go if I didn't stop you? How long would you go? Would we be here till 10 o'clock? And I loved her answer. She said, I would probably keep going until my shots started getting sloppy, till I started figuring that it was hurting me more than helping me. So that was a great answer. But yeah, everybody works hard. But yeah, this summer she wanted to. Last year she joined late. She wanted to play catch up, and I told her, well, there is freestyle season. She didn't join until January of last year.
Yep.
I think she finished 6-6 or 7-7 last year. So just starting that late and finishing with a 500 record was excellent. And she wanted to wrestle more. How can I wrestle more? I said, well, there is freestyle season. Okay, I want to do that. And then when freestyle season got over, I want to wrestle more. How can I do more? And I said, well, the problem is going to be finding partners. So this year she, basically clawed and scratched and begged and borrowed and stole to find practice partners. And so she got some time in this year, and I would say she's caught up with what she missed the last year, certainly. But yeah, everybody works hard. We have, again, there's 6 girls, and they can get a lot of individual attention. The less you have in a room, the more focused they will be, the less screwing around they'll be, and just the more repetitions they can get, and the more what you say as a coach with the less people in the room, everything seems to hit home a lot better when you have less. So that's where we're at now with the girls program. Dustin and I both are basically 50-50 with the girls program. We don't have an official girls coach yet in Valley City, but so from this point forward, we're basically trying to grow numbers. I mean, our 6 are doing great, but we need to have 12 that are doing great, and then 15 that are doing great. And so that's what we need to get to.
I know Brooks is a lone senior. This is a young group. She's a senior, but most of them, you got 8th, 9th, 10th graders, and then, of course, the 7th grader, Haley Ford, coming up, too, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Haley's doing well. The one thing that I told her today in practice, you've got to stop letting these other girls muscle you and strong-arm you. You need to start fighting back. You're not there, you're not second class to them. At some point, you're not going to be the underclassman. You're gonna need to be the one that's going to step in and win the big matches,
right,
and beat some of the ranked girls. So yeah, I'm trying to get her to hold her own and to get down and dirty with some of these other girls, rather than maybe take a step back because she feels like they're stronger than her or whatever else. But they are. But she's getting to figure out that she can fight back. The
mental aspect of the sport of wrestling,
absolutely,
that's part of it too.
That's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of wrestling. Just deciding that you're going to put your face in there and go. Like I've told the kids before, some of the best wrestlers that you will see are always walking around with bruised faces, battered faces, bloody this, bloody that, scratches and cuts and bruises, basically. They're not afraid to put their face into somebody else's body parts, whether it's
Yeah.
a knee or a thigh or chest or whatever else. So
Get in there and get dirty.
Yep.
Not illegal dirty, but you got to get in there and get filthy a little
Yep,
bit
yep.
And do it. Now, you look at Molly Christensen, Deegan Kirschman, and Gabby Hannick. Gabby got a couple of matches last night, winning both of those. Just getting on the mat and getting these girls competition is the biggest thing right now, isn't it? Just whether it's up in the wrestling room or, I know they have a try coming up here in the not too distant future, but just getting them on the floor. I can look at my schedule. I've got it right here. Actually, the 30th of the month, they're in Napoleon. I think the girls is next up for them. That is the biggest thing as coaches, right? You just get them on the mat.
Absolutely. The opportunities, certainly with only 6 girls, the opportunities are a little bit less. We're not going to be invited to a duel. Nobody's going to want to have 7 forfeits, wrestle a team that's got 7 forfeits. And, on top of that, we have a couple girls that are essentially at the same weight. So you could be looking at, 8 forfeits,
Sure.
either that or move a girl out of her weight class that she's probably a little bit too light for. But yeah, finding out there's less, it seems to be less opportunities. So, but they are out there. So that's what it becomes, is trying to find places
Right.
to take these girls. And that's part of what we do. I think we just heard of one that that was a junior high tournament that's in Oaks. But yeah, so it's whatever, searching through and trying to find out where we can get them matches, and if we can't get them to a girls tournament, there's of course the opportunities like last night,
Right.
before the boys duels.
And the Lowell's team in Devils Lake brought a good number too. They have a decent number of girl wrestlers, so they were ready to get after it too.
I think
And
they have at
that's-
least 12. I think Devils Lake had at least 12 girls.
Yeah, and they were ready, and they don't care who they wrestle. If you're a Highlander, I don't care who's on the other side of the mat. If it's Devils Lake, if it's Napoleon, I want to just
Well, and a lot of these girls, I was asked today
Yeah.
when for our next duel, which is against Fargo North and Cheyenne in a triangular, they have a separate girls team that has a separate schedule, so they won't have girls at the duel for us to exhibition. And so I told some of the girls that today, or some of them were aware of it, and they are like, well, why can't we wrestle boys? Well, there's essentially, long and short of it, a new rule this year. Girls have to wrestle girls, boys have to wrestle boys.
Right.
But there's some of them that want opportunity so bad that just like you said, I don't care who I wrestle, I just want to wrestle. So unfortunately, we can't have them wrestle the guys.
Right. Well, let's and right now the future looks bright. We can just get a few more numbers in that wrestling room with the girls. That's only, and the success that younger girls see this group have. Just like I talked with Gabby last year and Miley. It's like, you guys are kind of groundbreakers, if you will. You're the pioneers. You're trying to help this program build, and they know it. And I think they feel if they go out and perform well, that will get the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, get them interested.
Yeah, we've got
doing it.
a good number coming up from Express. But even our girls now, when they come into the room, I will, somewhat jokingly, but also being serious, ask, who did you recruit today? Who did you try and recruit? Trying to get them to get their friends and others to try it. And that's our sticking point right now, is just getting kids to step in the room to try it. Like I said, last year we had Victoria come in mid-season. Not sure what, mid-season, why she didn't come out at the beginning of the season, I don't know, but something triggered her to come out and try it. And she absolutely loves it to the nth degree. And so we just got to get more girls to try it.
Well, before I let you go, though, I do have to have you put your dad hat on for a minute. How fun was it just get Ethan out there, and then even though he didn't last very long, he didn't waste any time as he left tonight. I said, boy, you didn't waste any time last night just to get a chance to see Ethan get back on the mat again for the first time in a year plus.
Yeah, I think what did we figure before season? It had been 21 months since he'd wrestled a match. It was, it was awesome. It was a date that I've been looking for. It was getting back to playing football. September 22 was a date that I was looking for. I had a board in my shop with a little, kind of like you tear little circles out. Little kids tear circles off of for a Christmas tree for when's Christmas going to get here. It wasn't quite like that, but I had a little system keeping track of when Ethan's first day was going to be back at football. And so, yeah, in football, every play I would be looking on the field. Did he get up? Did he get up? Or if somebody was down,
Right.
is that Ethan? Is that Ethan?
Yeah.
Last night and through now into practice is starting, I haven't really thought much about it. I knock on wood, I feel like we're in the clear. So.
No. But it was fun. 23 seconds. All right, I'm done. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
It was
I
fun
mean-
to see him get out there, though.
Yeah,
Me as a
absolutely.
fan of Highlander sports, just to see him get back out on the mat and compete. I don't care if it was a 23-second match or he went triple overtime. Just to see him back out there is, for a lot of fans, it was fun to see.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have some grinder matches and some, we've got a few practice partners that are college age that help out coach with us, and they'll wrestle with him, and so we've got to try and, again, a little bit Victoria-like, try and play catch up.
Sure.
Catch up to some of the time that he's lost. Now it'll come back to him, but he still has to do it. He still has to get into some grinder matches and some grinder practices before it fully comes back to him. But as far as where we're at now, I really don't care where we're at right now. It's where we want to be at the end of the year. So just like with it, like we tell a lot of the kids. Practice is practice. Make mistakes in practice. That's okay. Whatever happens in practice, I don't care. I don't care if you get beat 20 to 14, 20 to 10, 20 to 6.
Right.
Let's focus on those 6 points that you scored. Tomorrow, try and make it 8. Next day, try and make it 10. We just got to worry about improving, and that's where Ethan should be right now. And whatever happens early in the season is relatively not important.
Right.
It's where we finish. Like last year's state champ at 152, started the season 0-3, and after he won, I'm sure after his first 3 losses, it probably bothered him. The end of the year, state title in hand. I don't think he thought much about it. So.
Forgot all about it. That was in the rearview mirror.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you joining us and look forward to more talks as we get through the wrestling season here and the girls and the junior high. Have you had a chance to get on the mat with any of the wrestlers yet, Dustin?
I've been in there wrestling with a few of them, so it's been pretty fun to get back in there. And
138, right? 138.
we're close, but a little heavier than that. So I do wrestle with. I have wrestled with the 127 pounder, so.
Well, he's wrestled everywhere from. He's our all-purpose guy. He's wrestled from 127. He's wrestled from Colton all the way up to Ethan.
Yep.
Okay. So let's call you Slash. Slash Kruger.
Wrestled Bowen a little bit. So I did get up to heavyweight once there, so.
We just tell him, hey,
anywhere I gotta go, I'll help the kids out. So.
Yep, I appreciate it. And gentlemen, again, look forward to lots more talks throughout the year. Have a great Thanksgiving. You can eat as much as you want because you guys aren't cutting weight, so you can do whatever you want tomorrow.
We always do.
All right, guys, thanks.
Whether it's
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thanksgiving or not.
much.
Thank you.
You bet. That is Tim Miller and Dustin Kruger from Highlander Wrestling. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner in the Highlander Activity Network, continuing in the wrestling room, and TJ Hansen joining us. And Coach, how you doing?
Doing well.
Practice over for tonight, and
Yep.
now the guys can go and eat. What'd you tell them? Eat what you want tomorrow. They can
Yep.
eat what they want. They got
Yep.
time.
Yep. I said tomorrow, have your Thanksgiving dinner and or whatever time you eat it. And I said, then after that, just think positive. Then think of healthy and a lot of stuff at Thanksgiving's pretty good. But think a little healthier and just manage your meals.
Last night, Devils Lake here, 54-22, the final. We had some open weights, so right off the bat, down 18-0 with those early weights. But overall, how'd you feel the guys wrestled last night?
Okay. I would say I expected a little bit better, but also we have a lot of young kids, a lot of new wrestlers, a lot of young kids. I thought we wrestled, we competed. I thought they wrestled hard. They wrestled maybe not quite where I thought we were. You know, I thought we could win 6 matches. Hunter Undum and Jaden Surd, those two were that's kind of where I thought we could win 2 more and win 6. And then I was hoping to win, possibly win 1 more. I mean, we were hoping to win 7 because there's
Right.
13 weights now. So we're
Right.
hoping to win 7. That's our goal, is always to get 7 wins. You usually win the duel if you win 7 of the 13 matches. So that's always our goal. Find 13 we could win. They bumped their 21-pounder to Colton. He's very good. And then they bumped their 27-pounder to our 33-pounder, Corbin Golovanov. Corbin's brand new. He's a senior, very strong, very tough kid. Just doesn't quite have the mat sense yet. But their 27-pounder is pretty good. You know, he was 19-16 last year, so he's over 500. He's one of their better wrestlers on their team. So they didn't want him to wrestle Colton, and I'm sure he'd get pinned because Colton pinned their 121-pounder, who's really good. You
And
know,
placed in state last year.
yeah, he got 5th in state last year, and then I think he got 2nd the year before to Coy. So
Okay.
he's very good, and tough and strong, and you know he's a little light because he weighed in at 121. But I mean, Colton did what he does, and I figured Colton would do what he did. You know, somebody asked me what's the result of Colton if he wrestles Owen Lindstrom, and I said Colton pins him, and they're like, oh, really? And I said, he's bigger. He's better, obviously, and he's such an animal. You know, Colton's an animal. So that was nice to start the duel off with that after the 3 opens. Chase Coughlin broke his thumb, so he's out 4 weeks. Otherwise, he'd probably have been wrestling 107. And then, you know, 14 and 21, we just don't really have any guys. All our other guys are anywhere from 80 pounds to about 102. So we got a bunch of 7th graders, 5 of them that are really little. And that's fine. That's great. It's good to have in the room. But their kids are pretty good at 107 and 114. So I didn't really feel comfortable putting them in there, kind of throwing them to the wolves.
Right.
You know, I think maybe their 14-pounder would have been okay. Their 7-pounder's pretty good. But so, yeah, I was impressed by Corbin Golovanov. He wrestled a pretty good kid, and he stuck in there. He hung in there for a long time, and he's really tough. You know, he's a senior, so he's got short time here.
Right.
So we gotta, you know, but he's really making a weight that we wouldn't have anybody at as well. So there's, you know, that's another open weight class that we
Yeah.
might have if he's not there. You know, Tyson Clayville wrestled a very good match. A little bit older kid. The kid's been wrestling varsity for him for a couple years. Tyson up a bunch of weight classes. He grew taller, if you can imagine
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
he got more muscles. And you know, he's a good win after. I think he gave up the first takedown. I think he was down
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah.
And then he scored 10 unanswered. Had a good arm bar going. And you know, handled the match after that. It'd been nice to see him get a pin out of those, but that's okay. Hunter Undum, you know, had a tough night. Wrestled a senior, very, very strong kid. Hunter's a better wrestler than that kid, in my opinion. Hunter ran out of a little bit of gas, and you know, that's it. Other than that, Cruz battled. I know he got pinned, but Cruz battled. Ethan did what he does, took care of business. You know, Ryer wrestles a really good kid. Got 4th at state at 182 last year, and Ryer's, you know, he's kind of getting the musky genes are coming in there a little bit. He's getting a little bit bigger. He's a light 189-pounder. He only weighed in at 183 or something. So
True.
we're kind of working with weight with him to see where he wants to go and that type of stuff. And then Dylan Hunt hasn't wrestled since 7th grade. You know, he's a big kid. He's athletic. Again, their kid, very good wrestler. So we ran into Dylan and Ryer, you know, got to be 2 of our better wrestlers. And they ran into 2 wrestlers that were just a little bit better than them. So, and then Scotty didn't get a match, which stinks, but they didn't really have a heavyweight.
Right.
They're young guys, and they didn't have anybody that really weighed. Scotty would have been nice to get Scotty's hands on somebody, though, because he's going to have surgery here.
Yep.
So we're going to be without him.
You talked about the 7th graders, and we were just talking with Dustin and Tim about the JV. There was some 7th graders that went out there for the JV, about 7, I think, 7th graders that you had in the JV. The JV won last night, and those 7th graders looked really good. Simon Trapp, I think, had a couple of victories for you. old Express Westers that are now Highlanders. So how fun was that to see those young guys get out there and do what they did last night?
Yeah, and we were warming up the varsity, so I didn't get to see all of them wrestle. I saw the last couple kids. I saw Brady's match. Brady's match was super
that was
awesome.
great.
That takedown at the end and in the overtime to win. And Brady's a tough kid, and he hasn't wrestled for a lot of years. I mean, he's only wrestled for 3-4 years, so he's fairly new. Simon Trapp is also fairly new. He's wrestled for probably 3 years, full years, and he's, I would say, fairly new to the sport, which is okay to come out as a fourth grader or whatever he came out as. I don't even remember, but Simon Trapp has gone from literally, the bottom to he's pretty good now. The problem is he's just 80 pounds, so we got to get some meat on him, and so hopefully. I foresee him as a 107-pound sophomore or a junior but, he might be just a little fart the whole time, and then hopefully, as an older kid wrestling a lower weight can be dominant or can be big. Trenton Geisler is a great kid to have in the room. He's great for those other kids. Zach Anderson, tough kid. Zach's got a leg that doesn't bend, and he's got some, doctors don't even know what to think of it. So he's battling, tough stuff, and Zach's a tough kid, and I'm hoping Zach sticks with it because he can't play football, he can't play other contact sports because of the injury issue, and I just hope Zach's a good kid, and he's got a good family, and we just hope that he continues to wrestle because he's awesome to have in the room too. And then Bowen Bulow, who wrestled the same kid that Brady did, that kid's tough too, from Devil's Lake. Bowen's a good wrestler. He's a very good wrestler. Again, just a little bit small, about 89 pounds. So again, his mom is tall and his dad is a big dude too.
Yep.
So those genes will be hitting him soon too. So I'm hoping he gets up to 107 next year, which is 17 pounds. But hopefully, some of those guys can grow a little bit, and we'll have those little weights when they start spreading out. Brady too. His dad's a big guy. Big, tall, strong guy. So Brady, those guys start hitting the puberty, and they'll be good. So it'll be awesome to see those kids wrestle. Great class, 7 seventh graders, 3 eighth graders. We got 10 kids in the junior high, which is a lot. That's a lot more than we've had in a long time. And we always say if we can get 4 or 5 kids a class, we'd be fine. We're just a little lean up at the top, and some of those kids are brand new, and then some are young. One other JV kid, I don't know if he wrestled last night, Jack Leerud.
He did.
He is very, very.
And picked up a fall at 231.
Yeah, he's another kid that has come in the room, and he wrestled when he was young, but not for a long time. He's a sophomore. He's got a couple years, but man, he was. He's just looked really good. Very surprising at the Lisbon JV, and very surprising at the, just in our room, just watching him wrestle. Very aggressive. You can't teach that, kids that just get after it, and he's pretty strong too. So I know his dad wrestled, and it's too bad he came out this late. 7th or 8th grade would be fine. But, but I still think there's a great future for him. So.
And overall, as a unit, you got a full wrestling room, and coaches always talk about that. You like to have those full wrestling rooms because that creates a lot of competition. That creates a lot of good work ethic with a full wrestling room, doesn't it?
Yep, exactly. And we have 25 boys out, 7 through 12, and only 6 girls. We're hoping to get the girls' numbers up, soon. Next year, the year after, trying to get them up because we're going to lose some of these girls too at some time because they're getting older. But yeah, the 25 boys is actually getting to the point where there's almost too many kids in there, and we're getting too close, and we got too, should have built the wrestling room bigger, I guess. No, maybe when they build the new school, I already told Josh Johnson, I said, hey, when you build that new school, if whatever happens, I said, you put 2 wrestling rooms in it. And he's like, what? I'm like, well, we got girls and we got boys. We got junior high, we got a high school, we got a someday, hopefully we'll be up at those numbers.
Right.
And we got good numbers in express. So I'm hoping we can get that 6 to 7 kids per class. And by gosh, when those 7th graders are, or even when the 8th graders are seniors and the 7th graders are juniors, and then you just go on down the line, I think the number problem will keep going, and it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's we're so even in the wrestling room. I was afraid we were going to have 10 wrestle-offs, and I kind of told those guys in the middle of the lineup, I said, you guys either have to find out what weight you're going to go, or you're going to have to wrestle off a bunch of times, or, if you win, then you get the spot. But if you lose, might have to bump up a weight or down a weight or whatever, you have to do. So a couple days before, or not a couple days, but the week before, they all decided to go different weights, and they all decided to spread out a little bit, and they did that, and makes our team better. But we got a couple kids. Jack Learwood's knocking on the door at 160. Carter Jewett's a senior, but he couldn't make 160 for the duel, so he's going to make 160 next week, and then he'll probably be our 160 pounder. So we'll have a little bit of a change in the lineup, so it looks good. Those 7th graders are awesome. They're all good kids. They've all wrestled for more than 1 year, so they're not brand new. They all kind of know what they're doing. I ran a lot of express practices last year, later in the year after the state tournament, so they kind of know what to expect from me. They kind of know what our wrestling practices are going to be like, and they're hard and they're tough and stuff like that. So, I tell the kids at the beginning of the year, especially new kids, young kids, I tell them, like, it's a goal just to get through the season, like, honestly, to wrestle from day one till February 17th or whatever the last day of wrestling is. Even if you're not wrestling that state tournament, if you're just wrestling, practicing, that's a huge accomplishment. There's a lot of kids that come in our room, think like, oh, I'm gonna wrestle, show up, and they're new, and they get in our room and they wrestle for a week or two, and it's just like, I can't do this anymore. It's way too hard. It's just too hard. And so I tell a lot of the kids, it's an accomplishment just to make it through the whole year. Pat yourself on the back for working hard and accomplishing that. And wrestling is it has life lessons all built into it, all over. If you look at it, the perseverance, the winning, the losing, the being able to learn from your mistakes, and I feel like our kids are pretty tough. They're very hardworking, and we work them pretty hard. I ask them to do a lot of things, and they usually don't bat an eye. They usually do it, so it's good.
Final question for you, because we're just scratching the surface. This is only match number 1 of a lot of matches this year, but I mentioned it. I had Tim put the dad hat on here about seeing Ethan get out there for the first time, and just as a coach, to see how far he's come and get him a chance to get out there in 23 seconds. He wasn't going to waste any time, because I think there was a lot of adrenaline going through that body last night.
Yeah, Ethan Miller's a great kid. He's a good kid to have back in the room. He was in our room last year, but of course has had surgery and was in and out and hung out with us and traveled with us, which was very awesome to have him in the room or with the kids and stuff. But he's silent. He's quiet. He just goes about his business. He does his work. He again doesn't bat an eye about whatever you need to do or however you're going to do it, and he works pretty hard. I can see it. And then having Colton and him together. Now, even they drill together, even though they're 172 and 127 or, 133 and they're 40, 50 pounds apart, they just know what they want out of practice, and they know what they want out of their season, and they want state titles, and that's what they want. So they're going to work hard with each other or with practice, and they're going to put it in. So yeah, Ethan, great kid, very respectful. He doesn't say much, so there's just nothing you can say other than he works hard. And being off the mat for 21 months or whatever it is, and then just playing football for 2/3 of the season, his conditioning is so. Right. Maybe the 23 seconds was because he didn't want to go any longer. He
was tired and winded. No, he was already winded.
No, I don't think he was winded, but he didn't want to get too far into the match and have that happen. Yeah. But he'll. We're not worried about, and I told the kids this, some of you fell short of what you wanted in those matches, and some of you got a little tired because, and it happens. 6 minutes is hard, no matter what. But I said, you know, right now we're not going to be in peak shape. It's not our goal to be in shape November 21st. We got to be in shape the middle of January and roll into EDC and state with our optimal shape. So we usually crank it up a little bit as we go along, but it, you know, for a kid to be at peak shape from now until February 17th is not, it's almost you know, it's not possible other than Coy Griebel. I mean, if you were Coy, I tell the kids that if you're Coy was in shape the whole time because that's the way he ran. And I said, but that's an anomaly. That's just one kid out of, you know, this is my 13th year coaching, I think, or 14th year. I've had one kid that's Coy. There's been no other kid like that, just one kid. So I said, it's okay if you're not quite in shape yet, but you know, you have to make a decision in your head. Your practice is going to be better, tougher, harder, you know, all that stuff. And then, you know, when we do condition, we'll amp it up a little bit, but only you can take yourself to that position. So.
All right, well, Coach, I do appreciate the time tonight, and look forward to more. You got the triangular coming up next Tuesday with North and Cheyenne. Good barometer. See what you guys are on with those two teams here next week.
Cheyenne's tough. Yep. North, I haven't looked at their lineup, but they got some good kids. Yep. They got a few good kids. Augustus Mon, I know Billy Ward. Those are two very good wrestlers. Gus got second to Coy last year, and Billy Ward got third, I think. Okay. So two tough kids, but yeah, and we wrestled them right away at 6, and then we wrestled Cheyenne after at North. So we're hoping to get, you know, I hope we beat North. Obviously, I hope we beat them both. But Cheyenne's pretty loaded. They're going to be the top of the crop here for a couple years. So.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. Happy Thanksgiving, and you can eat whatever you want. The fellas can have their Thanksgiving, then they got to start thinking about it later. But
yeah, I tell the kids that you have fun tomorrow, and then Friday start thinking about back on track. We don't have a ton of kids that are losing a lot of weight either. We've kind of gone away from that. We used to do a lot of weight management, and then now it's just, you know, wherever you feel good, you know. And some kids are, you know, they're moving down weight. Some kids are moving up a weight, you know, like Dylan Hunt weighed in a little light. I said, you eat, buddy. You eat and lift weights and get big and strong, plus you're going to play football. So
a lot of protein in turkey.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And tryptophan, but that's another story. Trevor, thanks much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate it.
Trevor Hansen from Highlander Wrestling will be back and wrap it up for this Coach's Corner from the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner from the Highlander Activity Network here at the Highlander Activity Center, and all that's coming up on the Highlander Activity Network is next week. another Coach's Corner beginning at 6 o'clock right here at the Hack. And again, have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day tomorrow. And maybe for some of you, it's a 4-day weekend. For the rest of us, we have just 1 day off, and that's tomorrow. So enjoy your day tomorrow. Safe travels if you are on the road for Thanksgiving. And we'll see you back here next week. Again, 6 o'clock next Wednesday night. Another Coach's Corner, last of the month of November as we roll through 2023. And again, my thanks to our guests tonight, Coach Hansen, Trevor Hansen, Tim Miller, and Dustin Kruger from Highlander Wrestling, and Ryan Mathias from Thunder Football, and of course, Jaden Johnson, our technical director and cameraman tonight. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network.